Hey, what's going on, guys? Ernest Wheels here. Wanted to do a video for you today. Told you I'd be back doing a quick video. I was reading one of my favorite bloggers, probably my absolute favorite, Steve San Angelo, SRS, RoccoReport.com. That's SRSROCCO report.com. And he did an article either yesterday or today about basically what's going to happen with gold and the dollar when he called it the Great Deflation when that comes. And so in my last video, I mentioned that I believe we're going to have a mix of hyperinflation and deflation at the same time. Again, hyperinflation in things like food prices, services, basic goods and services, but deflation in asset prices, property valuations, stocks, bonds, that type of thing. And in the article, he compared the cost of production to the price of gold. And we already discussed that previously. So basically, we know that gold and silver's price has nothing to do with supply and demand. It has everything to do with cost of production. The cost of production fluctuates generally based on the price of oil, but there are other factors as well, but oil is one of the top factors. But because that's the case, the banking cartels, the bullion banks, the big hedge fund banks that manipulate the price of silver, they cannot push the price of gold and silver below the cost of production. Because if they did, then there would be no more physical silver coming to market. And at that point, their Ponzi scheme will be exposed, and silver will begin to find its true nominal value, which is silver and gold will begin to find their true nominal value, which are both way above the current prices. So they keep the price close to about, the cost of production. And so in the article, he reported on two of the top silver and gold miners, I believe in the country or the world, I can't remember. Pan American and either Barracks or Newmont, I can't remember. I think it was Barracks. But their cost of production for, I think it was 2015 or 2016, it was a little bit above 1100. And at that time, the price of gold was about 1250. So the cost of production was about 89% of spot price. And he compared that to how much it costs to print a $100 bill, which was very interesting because it only costs, I think 13 cents to print a $100 bill. And so because the cost of production is so close to the price of gold, and the cost of production is so far away from the dollar, when the Ponzi scheme collapses, the dollar is going to have much, much, much further to fall than gold. And that's easy to understand because dollar's true value is zero, and it's not even going to be worth the paper that it's being printed on at some point. And the reason why is because there's nothing inherently valuable in paper. The only value that it has is what it can be used for, what can be written on it. There's nothing inherently valuable in it. Gold is inherently valuable because it takes time, effort, and energy to acquire it. And because it takes time, effort, energy to acquire it, purify it, and bring it to market, it holds all of that time, all of that effort, all of that energy in itself. It's right there. The evidence of it is in the gold and the silver. The fact that you can look at a gold bar or look at a silver coin, that you're looking at time, effort, energy that somebody else put into bringing that object to market. The same way you go to the store and go to your local grocer and buy fruit. If you buy strawberries, I love strawberries. If I go to the store and I buy strawberries, I am paying for the farmer's time, effort, energy, seeds, everything that he put into those strawberries to produce them. That's what I'm paying for. So the value of those will never go to zero as long as they stay fresh. Therefore, the value of gold can never go to zero. The value of silver can never go to zero. But paper can and will go to silver because there's nothing inherently valuable about it. As I was listening to some listening to some videos and reading some articles today, it dawned on me the reason why so many people aren't interested in gold and silver is because they literally do not understand what money is. People think that paper is money. They don't understand that gold and silver is money. They're not commodities. The media has convinced the world that gold and silver are commodities, and they're not. They are money. They function as money. We know that the only reason our dollars ever had any value was because they were backed by gold. And because they were backed by gold, we had that energy. We had that store of wealth. And we used that store of wealth to build this vast empire that we call America. But we keep trying to expand it. But instead of using that vast store of wealth, we use debt. We just print more dollars. Print, 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 print. That's all we do, whether it's printing on the computer or whether it's printing paper dollars. All we're doing is printing. And you cannot expand the debt forever because at some point it's going to peak. And when it peaks, it's going to collapse. And that's what's scary because, think about it this way. If oil, in order for debt to continue to expand, growth has to be evident. We're not having growth. Our first quarter GDP for this year was 0.07%. That's absolutely terrible. For the debt to be expanding at the rate that it is, 0.07% is absolutely terrible. And so what's happening is our growth is peaking. Now, if our growth is peaking, that means our economy is also peaking, which means it's going to be shrinking. If the economy begins to shrink, that means there will be a lower demand for oil because we need oil to produce to bring us everything that we need, whether it's food to your grocery store, whether it's electricity to your real estate properties, traffic lights, all of that stuff runs on oil. And if our economy is slowing down, then less of it is going to be used, which means less of it is going to be demanded. And if that happens, then we're going to be in very, very, very bad shape because at that point, we can no longer pay for the debt that we have just allowed to balloon. Our debt is insurmountable. The fact that we have over 1 quadrillion in derivatives, that's a number that, if you really saw how big that number is, you couldn't even fathom it. We have 1 quadrillion in derivatives that are not going to be paid for. The only thing that they're going to be paid for is by our blood, sweat, tears, future taxation, our future time. But if you have gold and silver, you are preserving time, you're preserving wealth. And that's what it's all about. It's all about preserving time, it's all about preserving wealth. So when this debt pops and the economy shrinks, man, we are in some serious trouble. A lot of people, they just don't get it. And I don't know, I might get it because I'm a thinker. I'm an introvert. And so I think about things. And if I see something wrong, I question it and I investigate and I dig into it. And that's kind of what I did with the economy in 2013 and 2014. And that's kind of when I came to this epiphany that hey, what happened in 2008 is going to happen again, but only a whole lot worse because the underlying problems never got fixed because we never allowed ourselves to go back on a gold standard. We never allowed the debt to collapse and so we could start over. Because we didn't allow that to happen, it's going to be a lot worse in 2000 than it was in 2008. And it's going to be worse sooner than later. We're in the, according to Mike Maloney, we're in the third longest economic expansion in history. And so this economic expansion is already shrinking 0.07%. Man, that's like you borrow. That's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like you borrow $1 and you pay that dollar back with 1.0007 dollars. That's nothing. That's nothing. It means our economy is not growing. So we're in a lot of trouble moving forward. But those who see the value in gold and silver see that it holds its value better than any other commodity, holds it better than food because food decays. Food wears off. Um, Gold and silver just hold their value. And that's what it's all about. It's all about holding value and preserving wealth through these uncertain times. Times are getting more and more uncertain every single day. We got all these geopolitical issues, economic issues. We getting more and more bad economic news. I said mortgage. I think it was on Market Watch today. It was either mortgage applications or those who are getting approved failed tremendously. Auto loans are continuously rolling over month after month. They've been doing so for the past few months, and so things aren't looking that good right now. So if you want to protect yourself, remember, it's all about gold and silver. It's all about wealth preservation. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just a young black man talking about what he sees in the world. So if you are looking for a company to purchase your precious metals through, please consider ISN International Silver Network. I'm an affiliate with that company. They're a wonderful organization. And every item you buy helps to feed a starving child through the organization Feed My Starving Children. So again, always remember, gold and silver is real money. Everything else is credit. Don't let the dollars fool you. Don't let the stock market fool you. Cryptocurrencies, I understand their value. I personally don't believe that they are fiat. Maybe I'll explain a video about that. I don't believe they're fiat, but they have yet to be proven as far as gold and silver. And in addition to that, if we do have a serious geopolitical issue like war or something else like that, really don't think that your cryptos are going to be helpful at that time. Because if we have war, oil flow stops. If you look at any major war or civil war in any particular region, power was gone. If you look at the war in Bosnia and Serbia between 1992 and 1995, the economy collapsed, the currency hyperinflated. There was no food coming in and out of the city. There was no oil. There was no power during that time. It was a very, very, very rough time. That's happened in many other countries. So when war happens, war tends to stop everything. So I really do think that if that does happen, that the cryptos, I have a hard time seeing how useful they'll be if that happens. I do have some, just a small speculation, but again, gold and silver is number one. Always has been, always will be. So God bless, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care. Peace out.